Yes, and speaking of being disingenuous and dishonest, is that from the beginning of this current situation after the signing of the agreement,
of the
first of
US-Taliban
all,
Peace Agreement, because we've
yes,
discussed a lot of those.
yeah. So, so as you mentioned, shortly after the agreement, he said that was his first statement that he is the only one who has the authority to release prisoners. Then what happened is he basically told the Americans and the Taliban that he is not going to cooperate in releasing the prisoners. This was even after that he was aware of the entire process of this negotiation between the Taliban and the United States, because after each round of negotiations, Zalmay Khalilzad would travel to Kabul to tell Karzai, to tell Ashraf Ghani what he talked about with the Taliban. So he cannot claim that he was not aware of this, okay? He was fully aware of what is being discussed in Doha and what the agreement is going to be about. He was being informed personally by Khalilzad, who traveled like 12, 13 times back and forth within a short period of time. Every time he would go to Washington, Doha, Kabul, Washington, Doha, Kabul. And Ashraf Ghani was aware of the agreement all the time. And he was aware of the fact that these 5,000 prisoners are going to be part of the agreement. Still, he pretended like he was not aware of it and that he doesn't agree with it. So he created a hurdle in the peace process. He showed that he's not cooperative. After doing that, he said, okay, then I will release prisoners, but then he did it in very small batches. He didn't release all the prisoners within 10 days as it was stipulated in the agreement. So the process of releasing 5,000 prisoners lasted from end of February all the way till now. We're in August 2020.
And there's another point to make here. These prisoners, it wasn't just 5,000 Taliban prisoners. It was these 5,000 Taliban prisoners. So if there were legal complications, as is claimed at the moment, Ashraf Ghani should, or logically the step would have been, okay, 4,600 of these prisoners, the green light. These 400 prisoners, I'm not sure if I have the authority for that as president, because, these guys, they've been involved in drug trafficking or civilian casualties or really complex and deadly attacks on foreign forces. As a result, there may be complications. I'll have to consult, I'll have to speak to the Supreme Court, but we didn't hear anything. Okay? No legal issue or anything of the sort was cited. Only now, seemingly after what? So that was the 29th of February 2020, and we are now in August. So 5 months later, Kabul has suddenly become aware that, now that we're in the final stage of the prisoner release process, now we've got foreign complications, we've got legal complications. So, we could say this was extremely poor planned, and the Kabul was very ill prepared. Or we can say that at every step of this process of prisoner release, which should have been completed in 10 days, which is extended over 5 months, repeatedly it seems that Kabul is putting in hurdles, it's putting in place complications to delay or disrupt the steps that will inevitably, as stipulated by the agreement, initiate the beginning of intra-Afghan negotiations.
Yes, and very important point that you made is the allegation that some of these prisoners have committed horrendous crimes and that they are involved in all sorts of things. If that was really an issue for Ashraf Ghani and the United States, then they would never have released Abdul Sabur Salangi. Abdul Sabur Salangi was a he's now labeled as an infiltrant. He was not an infiltrant. He was a guy who was serving in Afghanistan security apparatus. And in 2012, when copies of Quran were burned in Bagram, he became angry, and he went inside the office of his American colleagues in Kabul and he shot them point blank. Okay? He is released as part of these 5,000 prisoners, okay? Nobody blinked an eye. Ashraf Ghani didn't say, hey, ho, don't release him. Even Donald Trump didn't object to releasing Abdus Sabur Salangi. So that was not a problem, but
and
somehow...
I think if we move away from 2012, let's come to 2020. We have the head of the Afghan Women's Football Association, Kiramuddin, Kiramuddin, who is accused by many women of sexually assaulting and harassing girls in the Afghan women's football team. He's taken refuge in Panjsher, and Ashraf, seemingly the Afghan government is powerless to do anything, to the extent that Ashraf Ghani has now appealed to the people of Panjsher to hand him over. And he's also mentioned Dr. Abdullah. Obviously, the caveat here is that Ashraf Ghani's vice president, Amrullah Saleh, is also from Panjsher. And as Amrullah Saleh likes to show the world, Panjsher is quite a beautiful place, and he likes to spend his weekends picnicking there. So why are you asking opposition politician or local people to become vigilantes, okay, and not your own vice president, who by many accounts is an expert in all matters security related? So if the prospect of horrendous crimes is an issue, why is Abdul Rashid Dostum not just walking free, but has the pride of being Afghanistan's third ever field marshal, an honorary title, even though he doesn't serve in any capacity in the armed forces? So we come back to the Afghan constitution, the Afghan government's implementation of the constitution, or lack thereof of the implementation of the constitution, on which it grounds its very existence.